Hey guys, it's Maria Park, and this is Approach to Nerd. And tonight we are reviewing the latest Supergirl and the latest Black Lightning episodes. I'm sorry we're starting a little bit late again. My sinuses decided to drain, and they're draining everywhere. So bear with me. I know that this is a Arrowverse Tuesday is one of the nights that I anticipate because there's so much to talk about normally in the Arrowverse. Luckily, we only have 2 shows tonight. Normally, we have 4. So this is a good thing. But yeah, if I sound a little congested, it's because I really am. My entire head right now is going crazy. So bear with me. But let's jump into Black Lightning. So Monday night's episode of Black Lightning was, in one word, can be described as cray. It was cray. Everything that we thought could not potentially get worse got worse. And what I mean by that is we already knew Jefferson was being framed by Tobias for like stealing money, basically embezzling from his school. And it just seemed to be like a downward spiral for the Pierce family from that point. But this episode, things got a lot crazier. So it starts off with Lynn talking to her therapist about this dream she had, where basically, she invites Jefferson and her girls to her lab because she came up with a way to get rid of, the metagene and get rid of their powers. And she seals them in a room, and she's like, this is the only way we could be a normal family. And so she ends up pushing this button on the tablet, and then literally blood starts pouring out of the nose, blood starts pouring out of their eyes and the ears, and she kills them. And then she's like, talking to her therapist, she's like, I know, basically me trying to help my family is probably not what I should be doing. It's such a crazy thing. And I will say this, Lynn has suffered a lot of character assassination in this series. But I did feel bad about one thing. So in this episode for Lynn, we're going to focus on her first. She has the dream. She goes to the therapist. The therapist I still think is working for Tobias. I don't know why, I just do. And she goes to work and finds out her entire lab has been shut down and her access has been rescinded because, according to the investigation by this officer or agent Mason, who's handling, Jefferson's embezzlement case, embezzlement money also apparently funded her lab and her research, which is not true. Again, that is all Tobias's doing, but all 26 years worth of her life's work is now gone. They confiscated it and it is gone. Now she did tick me off when she kind of went to tell Jefferson about it, and she acted like it was his fault. Like he's the one that effing did this. He's being framed. His entire reputation's in the toilet. And she's like, I can't talk about this right now. 26 years of my life. And I'm like, okay, here we go, Lynn. Because it's about you, Lynn. Always. So that really pissed me off. I'm not going to lie. How she talks to Jefferson when she's having like some kind of crisis or whatever still ticks me off. It is definitely a character assassination on this woman, because this woman went from being understanding and, kind of warm to like, sometimes she's just a cold bitch. I'm going to be real with you. So it just really bothers me how they write her. And it's sad for the actress, because I know the actress is amazing. So I have problems with that. But, all right. So, but what actually made me feel for her is she also ends up getting arrested in this episode. Basically, they come, they have an arrest warrant for her. They take her to jail. She's manhandled by this woman, this female officer, who pushes her into a cell, does a pat down, and then does a cavity search, makes her strip all her clothes off, and does a cavity search. That whole scene was uncomfortable to watch. And it just reminded me of all the prison movies you don't like seeing, where the guards are trying to take advantage of some of the prisoners. So yeah, it was mess. It was absolutely mess. 9 times out of 10, she's working for Tobias too. Let's be real. So I don't think this is just her, the whole Makovian thing. Like she was saying, I think she's probably on Tobias's payroll to rough her up and treat her like crap in jail. So that whole situation made me effing uncomfortable. I'm just putting it out there. So yeah, Lynn's ideal of a normal family and having the work and getting out of this mess by Tobias really is not tracking for her right now. She pretty much got a big reality check on just how messed up their situation is and what Tobias is doing. So there's that. So Lightning, JJ, is acting a lot more like the original Jen, being irresponsible and doing things she's not supposed to be doing. It's like this girl does not have the capacity to learn, to listen to people, because every time she does something off the cuff on her own, it always backfires and she never freaking learns. This has been happening since China played Jen. It's happening with JJ. So she first shows up to surprise Uriah, who she has a crush on, to try and basically she went live on her Instagram trying to get support for the program to save the music school, and she did that because she liked him. It wasn't just because of the music school, the music program at school. Well, it gets tracked, and the people that Lopez has, they have a whole call center of people that are monitoring anything, metahuman in Freeland. So anything that comes up, their task force is ready to pounce, which I thought was interesting. And Hassan, who's like in charge of it unwillingly, who's still working with Black Lightning, he manages to text, Jefferson and say, hey, or Black Lightning, technically, Lightning is about to get busted. She's on IG. You better, better do something. So there is like this whole conversation between Jefferson and her where, JJ is kind of like, well, you're the one that's getting accused of embezzling and stuff. And, it's your fault because, we wouldn't be losing all this stuff if, you hadn't had that happen and your reputation at school hadn't been blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, everybody is down on him. Like, I feel bad for Jefferson. Everybody's down on him. He didn't even do this. Tobias did this. So yeah, there's that whole little confrontation between her and Jefferson. And then she makes breakfast for him the next day, basically to kind of butter him up. And he's still like, he's trying to get her to delete her Instagram, and she convinces him to let her deactivate it, even though he doesn't know anything about Instagram. So which is interesting because he's on this tablet looking at detailed information about Ishmael, but he doesn't know how Instagram works. But yeah, so she convinces him to let her deactivate it for a little while. And so he's down with that. But then what does she do? Later on, here comes Uriah saying, I want to, thank you in person, or Lightning, for helping me, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, well, I'll go with Jen, and then change into my Lightning, costume, to deal with it. And of course, it's a trap. It's a trap that Lopez it's kind of like the same trap they do when they try and cast crazy and nasty pedophiles. They have people that are pretending to be young girls or young boys, like talking on the internet just to see if they can lure the person into a trap. They pull that stuff on Lightning. And Lightning barely got away, and she probably still didn't learn her damn lesson. But right now, she has a bigger problem, which we'll get to in a second. All right, so yeah, Lightning is in her whatever. I don't even know what to say to that. She's just in her whatever. So Anissa gets a new suit. I love her new suit. It is fire. It is cool. I love it. It allows her to control, I guess, maintain her density so she doesn't have to use her powers as much. And Gamby tested this on her just by opening fire with a gun. That's what you do. That's what your uncle does. That's good. That's what families do. They test out their your new equipment, your new suit by shooting you. My question, though, number one, I have questions. Why in the hell did he not make protective gear for their heads? Because yes, their bodies are protected, but your head's not. So the density will keep her suit, but is the suit going to extend to her neck up to the top of her head? Because they can just headshot you. I have real questions. I really want to know this. I need to know if that's a thing. So headshotting Lightning in her new suit seems to be a way of taking her out. So it was not missed the conversation that Nissa has with Grace, where Grace is like, turn on your phone location. And she's like, I don't know, that feels kind of weird, but she does it. And I think that actually might help her because her phone location is turned on. I think that's how Grace is going to be able to find her. And I like that they put that in there. So now when Grace shows up to find Nissa, who potentially may be hit by a car right now, we know how she found her because she turned on her phone location right before all this stuff went down. So, but she does have this guy named, I think his name was Darius, who was looking into the phony company. I think, a cystic fibrosis treatment that we learned about in the previous episode. And he apparently found some information, but they found out that it was him. And this is another question that I have. If you have somebody investigating a company who's doing fraudulent stuff and you're having him hack in, and he's hacking in for you, and he basically says, well, I'm going to go home downloading everything to a thumb drive. Meet me at my house at 8. Now they should just reference, there's no movie, there's no TV show, there's no anime, manga, comic book at all where somebody says, I have information, I'll meet you somewhere later tonight, that ever bodes well for that person. Ever. So my thing was, why didn't Anissa say, hey, don't go to your house? Don't go to your house. Go to mine. Like, my wife is there right now. She can shapeshift into a leopard. I'm like, you don't need to know all that, but you can go to my house, and I will meet you there. And then we will figure this out. Don't go to your house, because if they know it's you, guess what? They have your home address because it's on your damn driver's license. Why don't they think? I was like sitting there like, why? Anissa, why? This is not the first time you've done this. I'm like, you know how this works? No, off the grid is off the grid. So I was kind of annoyed about that. So, and then of course, Anissa goes to track him. She goes to his house, and of course, he's murdered. Of course he is. Absolutely. Because she didn't give him an alternative. You don't send the man back to his own house. No, that's not how laying low works. That's not how staying off the grid works. You don't go home to your physical address on your driver's license. Guys. So Ishmael is pretty much taking he's basically retconning everybody. He's trying to reinvent himself as the greatest recruit to the League of Assassins. So he's stalking people. He's, basically getting down like their readings. Like he actually recorded Lightning when she was doing the Instagram to see what her base powers are. I mean, he studies before he attacks, which I think was badass. That's really, really cool. But of course, Gambi's like, telling everybody, you need to stay away from him, stay away from his blades, stay away from Ishmael. You don't need this because, and of course, JJ's like, I can take him. I'm like, just stop. Just stop. Well, long story short, Black Lightning challenges him after he has Susan agree to keep like an area cop free and reporters free, everything free for 20 minutes. And so they get into this fight. But the fight is actually pretty cool. And Black Lightning was doing really well against Ishmael. I gotta say that he was doing a pretty good job. But of course, he has what I call main character insurance. You see it across the board. When you are a main character and the name of the show is your name, you are not going to be the last one or you won't be the first one that dies. You'll be the last one standing, basically. So I knew that he was not going to go down, especially this close to the end of the series. But something does happen, and I'm going to tell you, we'll talk about Tobias last, because Tobias is, yeah, we'll talk about Tobias in a minute. So Painkiller, he talked to TC last week about trying to basically run up some leads because he used to collect for Tobias. So Painkiller, that whole scene with Khalil and Painkiller and whatever the heck that guy's name, I think his name is Jesse, the one that's basically signing the checks and and pretty much is one of the henchmen for Tobias. That entire scene was cool. Like literally, Khalil came in there, tried to be nice, ended up taking out everybody that was in the club. Then the dude's back there with 2 bodyguards. They open fire through the door. He's just standing outside the door, just doing that. And at this point, I think it was Painkiller, and then it switched to Khalil. Then it went back to Painkiller. Them talking to each other is hilarious. I can see if he gets this pilot, green light, and he gets the full series run, it is going to be funny just watching him talk to himself. But I love that Painkiller's like, they both have different interrogation styles. So you have Khalil being the good cop, and then you have Painkiller being the crazy cop. And, Khalil's like, dead men don't talk. And then Painkiller takes over, gets the information, and then kills him. He's like, I guess dead men do talk. I was right, you were wrong. That whole thing was so messed up. But they did get information from him before he died. He got, I guess it's an address to where there's this like ledger, a hidden ledger that probably contains everything that Tobias has done shadily. And so Painkiller / Khalil is going to get this information, which is crazy. But I mean, Painkiller, I was down with that. I am excited for Painkiller. I did not think I was ever going to say that. But I mean, after seeing him in the 2 episodes ago, I already knew I was going to like the show, but it just gets continuously cooler. So I think that his show is going to be badass, but it's just me. Okay. So Tobias. Oh, Tobias. Tobias is the Lex Luthor we need. I'm telling you, Tobias is, I'm not saying he's wasted in Black Lightning, but that man, he's like Lex Luthor mixed with Kingpin and like every other major villain. Like he even has a little Bane in them because, you know, he's super strong. He's humped up on the serum. He's like the DC villain that we've needed across the board. I mean, I actually could see Tobias effing stuff up in DCEU. I really can. Just literally messing everything up in the DCU universe. That man from point A to point Z has everything planned out and all of it is effed up. Like everything he's doing is effed up. So he, first of all, he bribes somebody because Mona Vista is the company that Anissa is also investigating. And so Mona Vista, you know, Lauren works through Mona Vista and she works for, I'm pretty sure the guy that got killed was her boss, but I can't remember his name. But she made, of course, the device and Tobias wants the device. So he bribes someone and gets the device. And so Lynn, because of course, Lynn... This is what's so hard for me. Had Lynn never worked for Tobias, I helped Tobias and studied Val's powers, she would have never been able to synthesize it into these like weapons, these little like, I'm calling them little bullet type, whatever, for the device. Or basically more like a battery, I think. It's basically her power synthesized into the weapon. And then when you put she's a neutralizer. So when you turn the weapon on, anything, and it seems like the radius on that must be freaking amazing, because when Tobias does his like villain speech, and he does a villain speech, he does an effing villain. He said, I'm gonna take my place as the king and not Black Lightning off his throne. I was like, okay. Oh, he was even playing on his last name. Well, that man, he's like, this is for my sister and the love of my life. I'm like, that man is not playing around. But when he turned that machine on, everybody lost their powers. TC lost it back in their command center. Anissa, who was fleeing from Lopez and the ambush, she was flying and she starts falling out of the sky and screaming, which I'm going to tell you, how many times do we see this girl do this? This is like the favorite thing they do to Lightning. They love Lightning to fall out of the damn sky screaming. I don't know what it is, either unconscious or screaming. That seems to be the same shot that they do every single time something happens to her. Just putting it out there. And this, after she found Darius's body, she came out of the apartment and there's a car coming and she tried to use her powers and they didn't work because she don't have powers anymore. And she's just standing there. She is standing there looking at the car like, I'm like, woman, you get the hell out of the way. It's not, it don't take long, just left or right. One thing that car can't do is turn quickly. You are fine. He is too close to hit you. And then my man Black Lightning, in the middle of whooping Ishmael's ass, because he was doing really well, and he was like, "Let me see if you can fight in the dark." And he went to go turn the lights out, and then nothing's working. And so Gammy's like, "TC's gonna find you a way out." And then he's like, "Oh, my powers aren't working either." I'm like, hell. And then you just see Ishmael just swinging the blade. I'm like, but Jefferson is a good fighter, so we saw that in the street fighting. Maybe they did. Maybe we had to see that, so it was more convincing for us when he took on Ishmael without powers. Now, but that also means that any meta abilities that Ishmael has probably are not working either. So they're pretty good matched if that's the case. Still not. I'm not saying he's not in mortal danger, because again, Ishmael is training to be a League of Assassins. So technically, he's formidable. But I don't think. Again, this goes back to main character insurance. Jefferson is not going to die in this episode. So, but that was the worst possible time for that to happen. So every person that really needs their powers right now are SOL. SOL. Woo. Guys, this episode, like this episode. I was really impressed with how much they got in this episode without it seeming rushed, because it was a lot of stuff. And even having Painkiller do like a little short cameo scene, I mean, it flowed really nicely. So I was really, really impressed that we got to see it. And we finally saw Lopez again. Lopez has had this vendetta, and she's only been in like 2 or 3 episodes since the season started. I'm like, what the hell? So we're finally seeing her. Will we have enough episodes left to see her real grudge, I don't know. But I mean, it was good to see her, even if it was only for 5 lines. She was in it. So it is what it is. So my other question, how do they not know that JJ is Black Lightning? So hear me out. Because now I'm just really thinking people have the Clark Kent syndrome. So the girl has the same effing hairstyle, is the same height, same facial structures with a tiny eye mask on, but they can't tell who she is. And like even Lopez was like looking at the monitor and said she looks different and she's taller. Meaning, yeah, because Jen, when Jen was Lightning, it was also interesting because there were times where she just, had the frost. She had like the frost, or she had no hair whatsoever. And Jen was doing the same thing. Sometimes she wear a wig, sometimes she went all natural. When you have these same distinguishing hairstyles, I mean, it is hard for me. And your whole mask consists of just an eye mask. It is very hard for me to suspend my disbelief. I have an eye mask for my sinus issues. I will put that on, the ones you put in the freezer, when I'm done with the stream. If I put this on, you're still going to know it's me because I look the same. I look the damn same. I'm like, I don't understand why they don't. I mean, it's the Clark Kent glasses situation. I don't care how many times that man put his glasses on and took his glasses off. I would have known who the hell he was. I'm sorry. It just doesn't make any sense. It's called intelligence. I've never understood that. I can't suspend my disbelief because I don't want to. So Clark Kent and Superman and Lois looks exactly like Superman. Same hair. He didn't even do the curl. It's the same. Don't get me on this, guys. Don't you get me on this. So I don't understand how no one knows that Lightning and JJ at this point are the same person. But I digress. So yeah, let me look at your questions and then we can jump into Supergirl. Supergirl was cool. It was not as, to me, it was not as entertaining as this was. It was funny, but it was not as entertaining. But I still liked it. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But let me get on some questions so we can get on the Black Lightning trail. The therapist is still sus. Absolutely. I don't know what it is about her. I just feel like she's doing something to them. Maybe she's doing something that's making them more aggressive. I don't know if she's given them medicine, because you know how therapists or some psychiatrists like to suggest that you take anti-anxiety pills or blah, 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 blah. If you have anger issues or stuff, like depression drugs. Potentially, she could have done that. And maybe it's something that they're taking is making them so damn aggressive with each other. But yeah, it's pretty bad. Okay. See, everyone's saying hi to each other. The cavity search was more than just procedure. It was an assault. I'm telling you, I didn't want to say it like that, but it literally seemed almost like rape. And I'm being real. That's what it looked like. For that, it just made me really uncomfortable. I did not like that scene at all. I think she might just be a burnt out corrections officer, sadly. Now, there's something else about her. There's something else about her. She was, I feel like, and normally don't they have more than one person like in the room? That might just be here. I think it goes by city or state though. So don't quote me on that. I know here, usually when you have to do a cavity search or something like that to keep yourself out of being accused of stuff, you have a second person. It's just like in the doctor's office or in a doctor's room, they do an examination, especially if it's on a woman, they usually have a second person in the room with that person. So yeah, I'm just throwing it out there that is something that's really interesting to me, but it made me very uncomfortable. The Jen freefall cliffhanger, like a broken record. Yes, right? I mean, why did they keep doing that? I don't understand. Have her electrocute herself or something. I don't know. Have her be walking down the street and then like all the telephone poles just zap her and she passes out. Do something different. I don't know. It's just really, really weird. Real, these pages don't have to be paid off, act like monsters. I mean, we know the cops are bad, especially in Black Lightning. But I don't know. I just feel like she worked for Tobias. I think she was just too into it. That was like, it almost seemed personal. So, I mean, that, or maybe her kid or somebody related to her goes to Garfield. I don't know. Maybe she's mad at I think that could be another option. Maybe she's mad at the husband, at Jefferson, for embezzling funds from an already poor community. I mean, it could be that, but I don't know. I feel like that was personal. It seemed personal to me. JJ not making smart decisions at all. Why? Like, learn from mistakes. That's what you do. That new suit is fire and has memory foam action. She needed the suit when she was fighting Homeboy. Yes, you're absolutely right. Hey, Blue. And this is new suit. I love her new suit. I absolutely love that suit. A sniper could take out any of the heroes. I'm telling you, headshot any one of them. Why is this brilliant man not giving them head protection? I don't understand why that's happening. But, whatever. Yes, the suit is a very welcome addition. Yes, it is. The electric field protects her non-armored parts theory. Nope. I'm like, nope. I disagree. Especially if you don't realize you're in danger and somebody headshots you from behind. And this has set the man up and didn't even give him all the info and got him killed. You get that info, you give it, and get the heck out of town. I mean, seriously, he's like, I'm going to give this to you and then I'm going to leave. I'm like, boy, do not go home. What is wrong with you? You don't go home when they know it was you. I mean, there's not many times I said that Black Lightning has suffered the CW writing, fairy, but unfortunately, some of this was. Twice in this episode, they made Nissa look at a seal trying the thunderclap and it didn't work. I know. They're really dumbing down her power. I don't know what it is. In fact, why didn't she have the shapeshifter protecting him on the low key? And this can be some dumb stuff. She can't be. I mean, you're not wrong. But I mean, to be fair, she's a doctor, so she's smart in some ways, but strategically smart, no, not at all. Which makes no sense because when she was Blackbird, she was literally getting people through the border over to safety, and away from the ASA. And now she acts like all of that stuff, all that training, all that espionage stuff she had to do was nothing, because now she's not doing any of it. Like, none of it. This woman literally had a safe house for metas, and this one guy you can't protect. You can't be like, don't go home. That's where they're gonna look for you. So how about you go to my place, because they don't know you're there, and I got the smart system, and it's all good. I'll call my Uncle Gamby. He'll come up there. We don't have to even worry about the computer. We got you. Like, heck, why didn't they send Gamby to the house with the man if he had to go home to get a computer? They wouldn't have touched him if Gamby was there. We all know Gamby also has main character insurance, and Gamby is a baby's kid. So, yeah. In this suit, it's like they're ripping off the Flash and Supergirl. I mean, actually, though, I think... is it after New 52? I thought her suit did kind of look like that a little bit. It did look a little bit more comic accurate, in my opinion. I have to go back and see if I can find it, though. Hi, Cheston. How are you? No one listens to Gamby. I know. The one man they should effing. I mean, the man gets stuff done and does not die. They just don't know. They don't know. I don't know. Oh, Yito. Hopefully, you're probably already gone. I will drop you a comment later. But thanks for dropping by. Nisago not checking for Homeboy. He better check for Task Force. This is like, what? I would love to see Nissa do a freaking cameo or guest appearance in freaking Black Lightning coming to get Ishmael. But like, nobody told you to go on your own. I'm like, we don't want you. We don't want you. Which makes no sense, because if Raj al Ghul is actually not alive in the Arrowverse, but then again, we've learned through Supergirl tonight that people that died are actually not dead anymore, which is an interesting paradox. And it's something that, if that is absolutely true, then we need to be seeing this in other shows. Just throwing that out there. I really love this episode of Black Lightning. How are you? Okay. I couldn't believe that the episode was directed by Keisha Sharp from Girlfriends. Oh, really? Well, that's cool. Okay. Tell me why I thought this latest episode of Black Lightning was a series finale. I was about to cry if that's how it ended. Yeah, I knew it wasn't the end. Yeah, they haven't gotten to the really juicy stuff yet. We think we have. We think that this is the worst they can do. It's not. The ledger is the key to taking down Black Lex Luthor. Of all the money, he can't hide his tax returns for 4 more years or hide the hard drive under the White House. I saw what you did there, Ray. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Hi, Ray. Drinking game time. You're going to see me do that a lot because not only am I sinusy and sick, my air conditioner in this room is not working. The air conditioning in this room is not working. And I didn't want to put the fan on because it is really loud. So, yeah. If we all of a sudden take a 5-minute break, it's because I went and got the fan and turned it on. Let's see. Keisha, multi-talented. It seems I really liked her on Girlfriends. I haven't seen Girlfriends in a long time. I bet Lynn wishes she had those meta boosters. I know. But then I don't know. Would it work? I wonder how it would affect meta boosters on someone who's not a meta. That's interesting. Can she boost them with their own DNA and their own powers? That would be cool to battle that, to counteract that. But what's sad is it's Lynn's fault, because if Lynn had never worked for Tobias, she would have never synthesized Val's abilities, and then they wouldn't have the ammunition for the machine. So she essentially made, like when Tobias said that Lynn was essential, that's what he meant. He used her as the catalyst to kill her own family. And not only that, she dreamed about it. She literally had a dream that she was killing her family and taking their powers away. That was some like prophetic stuff right there. And I don't know if that was just her having like a psychic dream, which would be interesting if we find out that she's actually a meta and kind of like dreamer, but not as cool. Or if that's the therapist is doing. Subliminally, she's the reason that all that occurred. I mean, we don't know. We don't know. Is there a DC equivalent of the Raft? Because that's where they need to put Tobias. There's a lot of them. I think they need to put I think they needed to put Tobias. What is the name of the jail in the third dimension? I can't remember things. Oldness. I'm gonna find. Man, making me think tonight. Not the Phantom Zone, because we don't want to put him in the Phantom Zone. But what is it's the one that Dream Slayer was in? What is the name of it? I cannot find the name of this prison. Why? Because I know in the 6th dimension they have a whole entire prison planet. But I cannot remember the name of the one in the 3rd dimension. The reason I like the one in the 3rd dimension is just nothing. It's literally nothing. Like you just go there and you stand in blackness and there's nothing. You can't even tell where your hand, after a while you go completely insane. You start seeing stuff that's not there just to fill the space. And that's what everyone does. And that's what they would send him. But knowing Tobias, he'd probably like that. He'd probably like that. He would probably like that. Lynn gets on my nerves. She should never be worked for that man. She did that last season with Odell. She needs to stay in her lane and stop the foolishness. Just stop it, Lynn. Go to Cabinets or Star Labs. Oh, yeah. Well, Lynn is brilliant. She is extremely, because think about this. Lynn did all this stuff by herself. She, even though we don't want her to do it, she is that smart. If she went to Star Labs, she'd be a threat to everybody in the science field because she wouldn't need them. I would never see her going to Cisco or Caitlin or anybody for anything. She may, her and if Wells was still around, which I'm pretty sure we're going to get Wells back because he's not leaving the show. But any of the Wells, especially the original Harrison, they probably could play off each other. But yeah, nobody in Star Labs can keep up with Lynn. And we all know that's true. Tobias needs his own show. He really does. Or he needs to be moved over to Painkillers or over to somewhere. I really want him to really, I don't know. I kind of see him in Gotham. He even name dropped Gotham early in the season. So I really think that having him be a villain in Gotham was really they think they have problems now with Black Mask. Black Mask is no Tobias. Black Mask is nothing compared to Tobias in the Arrowverse. So I would love to see what kind of damage he would do in Gotham. I like Maria and this crew like that too. Yeah, I think so. I'm thinking that this is still not Tobias's end game. If you think about it, Tobias, he's got an A to Z plan. This is probably like A to M. We probably even We haven't even seen the worst he has planned. And that's what's interesting. And I don't know if Tobias is going to die in this series. I mean, because more than likely, if they did kill him off, it's because if they didn't, Painkiller would eventually go after Tobias because they blame Tobias, just as much as Odell for what happened with Khalil and Painkiller. So that would be interesting. I don't know how that would play out. That'd be a lot of villains if we're dealing with Maya, Odell's daughter, and Tobias. That would get kind of convoluted because right now Black Lightning is a little convoluted with the Cobra and Destiny, Ishmael, technically the 100, but not because Lala was Han Solo, but we did have him. Then we got Lopez and the cops. We got all these different avenues of villains. It's just a lot for one series, and trying to tie up all those loose ends are going to be interesting. So Jefferson is a good fighter, but he ain't taking out this guy. Ishmael is not a metahuman. Yeah, well, in the comics, he was a metahuman that hunted metahumans. Actually, he died and was brought back by Ra's al Ghul in the pool, and then went literally he was literally an assassin, and he worked with a lot of people. And then I remember my girl, Lady Shiva, was one of the ones that took him out, because he crossed a few lines he was supposed to cross. But that's what Lady Shiva does, because she's cool. She better not come in the Arrowverse, I swear. They're gonna mess my girl up and I'm gonna have a fit. You're gonna see the stream will be a rant for however long we're in there. It will just be nothing but a rant about the Arrowverse and how much they suck if they ever put Lady Shiva in one of those shows and mess her up. Let's see. Tobias doesn't get his own show. I think he should be a primary villains on a broader Arrowverse. What have I agree. I wonder because they're talking about bringing back or making a new Arrow, which is crazy to me. I would like to see how that would go down, but I don't know. Because I feel like Arrow has run his course. Is leave Ollie and that world alone and let other heroes come in. I'm tired of them trying to beat a dead horse or reinvent the wheel. They're not bringing Speedy back for his own show. I don't know. I just think that's really weird. I guess Speedy technically was Roy, but it was also Thea. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know. I don't want that to happen. This app seems to use horror movie formula where everyone was making bad decisions. I know. Why don't you get in the running car? No, Anissa, go hide behind the chainsaws. I don't understand. Jefferson went harder on that kid in the beginning of the season than the cops, and he did on the assassin trying to off his family. You tired? I'm man, look, I'm in my 40s. I know how tiring it is, and it was nighttime. No, he didn't have. Look, that was when he was grieving over his brother Henderson. Then he had all that adrenaline and anger to go well on those kids. Now he's like, I'm in my feelings, and I'm old, and I'm tired. Yeah, energy, man, energy. I'm not sure if I can think of another Arrowverse villain that has as good a writing and actor as Tobias. I agree. Tobias is really good. He freaks me out, and I love it. Also, this season is killing it with the cliffhangers. I know. And I don't think we have an episode next week, but I'm not sure. I haven't checked. But they didn't show a preview, which they have shown. They did show the preview last week. So I'm kind of concerned that we may not have a new episode of Black Lightning. I'm hoping we do, because I don't need to have another 2-week break on this, because that's going to make me mad. Jennifer needs to retire. She has her mom's common sense. She's not meant for this life. Oh, you're not wrong. You're not. Did anybody catch that when she was doing the Instagram and then her boo was trying to talk to her, and he's right before he said, "Hey, do you think I'll see you again?" In her head, someone's like, "It's all too much." It almost sounded like the original Jen's voice, but I'm not sure. But it sounded like Jen was in her head. It's almost like the two are one, merged into one body. We still have no idea what it means because, again, Lynn kept that stuff to herself like she does every other damn thing. And it drives me nuts. She's the most, for somebody who demands transparency in her life, she never gives it to anybody. It's so annoying to me. So annoying. Also, Tobias' line about ascending to the throne had made me, I loved it. I effing loved it. I loved it. It meant it's comic book logic. I love it. I love the little shrine to his sister, Tori, on the wall. I was like, and I knew why he was doing it. I don't understand how no one understands who Jefferson is at this point. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. No, you don't, Maria. You look like Rihanna with your mask. I can't tell the difference. You better look harder. Not that Rihanna's gorgeous, but you better look harder. Powerless Jefferson against Ishmael is like Rocky Balboa versus Bruce Lee. I mean, he's good, but not good enough for it to work for him. I mean, yeah, I can't argue with that. But remember, in this universe, Rocky is now Ishmael and Bruce Lee is now Jefferson because the title of the series is Black Lightning. Now, if it was Ishmael, then yes, I agree with this logic. But this is the CW logic here. You got to put it in perspective. They have skills, fighting skills, and ability to survive that they wouldn't have if they were not main characters. And that's how it works. Just how it works. You don't have to train. You don't have to do anything. You just need to be a main effing character. And that is how that works. For some reason, I feel like they're going to wrap up Black Lightning on Painkiller. I feel like a few episodes are going to be dedicated to them to wrap up their story. Probably. It looks that way anyway. I kind of feel like all of this is a precursor to his show. If it gets picked up, I have no idea if they've even done it. So I don't know. They are underfunded. This is true. But you would think they would throw more money at it now this is the last season in a well-funded place. When you're underpaid and understaffed and the area is more low-end areas, some of these things are sad realities. I do know like people who work for the state or city and there are a lot of bad apples. That's true. I mean, where I live here in Memphis, they do not follow the rules at all. I'm just being real, not all the time. I've seen some things I probably should not have seen, and I know things from people that I probably should never know. So you're not wrong. Does anybody else think that based on Lightning's feats, she should have been able to take down the group of cops easily? Yeah, I mean, I think JJ's not in the right headspace to do anything, to be honest with you. And Anissa is not either. Anissa, like none of the girls, like I feel like one of the disadvantages of the two of them is that they do have their mother's common sense. I really feel like they both want to charge in and then just blast and fight. Anissa kind of pulled back a little bit on that because I know when JJ was like, well, I'll just shoot, blah, 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 whatever. And Anissa's like, did you hear anything Uncle Gamby said? You know, so she's kind of reeled back because that used to be her in season 1 and some of season 2. But now I just feel like Anissa and JJ, and sometimes, I'm gonna be real with you, sometimes even Black Lightning, they jump head first and then they don't think about anything. So even if you have the potential of the situation, they don't think and look and observe and find a way out or find a way of attack. They just say, I'm just gonna blast some shit and see what happens. It's just like, really? Like, it does not work for you. None of these seasons has ever told you that this approach ever works for you. Think, stop, slow down. What is wrong with you? And I love the Pierce family. They're just dysfunctional as hell. It's just what it is. Even in healthcare, it happens depending on staff and pay. You get those people who probably should have retired. Oh, don't get me started with that. As somebody who was a caretaker for 2 people in my life with cancer, and my mother was a nurse here, I understand completely about the healthcare field and that the systemic racism is very real in the healthcare field, and the discrimination is real. The people who you can tell are only there to make a paycheck is real. I mean, I lived in hospitals, cancer wards and stuff for years. So I have a respect for nurses, but I have a big problem with doctors and I just have issues. Not every doctor is bad, but there are a lot of them out there that are a-holes. I'm just going to put that out there now. As someone who has a medical condition and has to see one, it is a challenge to get actual quality help. And it sucks. So yeah, I agree with that. Crisis point paradox. Then we get, this is a crisis. It's all freaking down the crisis. This is so sad. Hey Maria, girl, you think you could be a good trainer for Anissa and Jennifer as fighters? So who would be a good trainer? Lady Shiva. I mean, you already knew what I was gonna say. She do it. She's trained a lot of people in DC. She gave Gamby his powers. He just didn't know they were active at the time. Yeah, it's true. I don't see no logical way for how Lightning survives this. I do. So like, let's see here. Let's use my phone and my glass case. So she's here, right? This is her. I'll make it less racist. This is her. Pretty blue. This is the car. He's like, right here. Instead of staring at it, you sidestep that shit. And then it goes. Because see, the car cannot turn really quickly and just hit you. No, it has to do a full on turn and then come at you. So if it's like, you just say, oh, get the hell out of the way. It's fairly easy to do if you want to live. I'm just saying. But I mean, I don't know. Phantom Zone his ass. You know, Tobias will be the king of the Phantom Zone in like a day. all crisis Phantom Zones because he has many to choose from. The last guy's White House. No, put him in Donald Trump's house. Let him take care of that problem, and then put him in the Phantom Zone. That place where the elders would go with blurred faces. Yeah, there's so. See, there, I'm telling you, in the third dimension, though, there literally is a void. It's like a void. It's a prison. And there are guards, but you never see anything. You're put in this space, and then that is your space. It's almost like somebody put you in a big black bubble. There's nothing. Everything around you, all 360 view is just nothingness. Man, it's like if you're claustrophobic like me, it would be an effing nightmare. Have you seen Justice Society World War II? I have not seen that. I need to. I absolutely need to. Caitlin, a glorified medic, laugh out with DID. I mean, that's pretty much it. Can Painkiller like paralyze him or something? Poetic justice. I would like him. I love that he can actually like poison him a little bit and start taking his blands can make it so you're unpoisoned and then poisoned again and then unpoisoned. That would be a good way of torturing him for days. That's probably what Painkiller would do. Painkiller would not slowly kill or quickly kill Tobias. He would slowly kill Tobias. Khalil would just be like, yeah, this is the one person I'm going to argue about death-wise. Let's just do it quickly. So that would be I think that's the one time we can agree. Besides Odell, who made him kill his mom. I think that Tobias would be the one person besides Odell that Khalil would have no problem ending. If she goes to Cadmus, she'd have to deal with Amanda Waller's nonsense. Odell was just a diet Waller. I mean, but to be fair, in the Arrowverse, Amanda was not overweight. She was very pretty. She was I remember seeing 2 times when we saw Amanda in Arrowverse. One was in Russia when she was trying to recruit Oliver because, everybody wanted Oliver on that island for some reason. He was supposed to be stranded on for 5 years. But she wanted him to work a job. And then we saw her again when she was ticked at him. I can't remember what it was. It's been a minute, but she was in there twice. If Tobias went to Gotham, we would definitely need Batman back or more heroes. I don't know what the hell Batman's doing. He acts like Gotham doesn't need him. Like he left Gotham because probably he killed the Joker, but everything's going to crap. Crisis was happening, and that didn't even bring Batman out. Nothing is bringing Batman out. So he just doesn't care. Amanda ain't no punk, and the world should have a contingency plan for the league, just as Batman does. There are 2 OP as super soldier army with godlike or actual god leaders and a giant laser. I agree with that, Ray. But let's be clear. Batman never had a contingency plan for Oliver Queen. That was a big sore spot for him in the comics. Trying to tie up all those loose ends is going to be interesting. It is. I don't know how they're going to do it, honestly. I don't. I'm pointing down, we need a Waller to keep it real. We really do. I could even see Waller in this universe. She'd be like, what the hell is happening? No one is saying Waller is a punk, just that she's very authoritative. Waller has a lot of issues. And we know that there's some trauma in Amanda Waller's background. I don't know if they've ever fully fleshed it out, but they have implied that in issues of Suicide Squad, that there's a reason she is the way she is. I don't know if she lost a husband. I don't know if she lost a family member. I don't know what it was, but something made her this way. I would love for them to actually do that in this new Suicide movie, just to actually explain why she is completely okay with putting things in people's head and blowing them up. I mean, she's just completely okay with that. Yeah, I would love to know her backstory, like her full backstory. That's the thing, though. A lot of characters, especially minority characters, they don't take the time, even when they make them really interesting, to explain why they do the things they do. So it's kind of frustrating. Amanda Waller probably said big, I told you so after the Cinder guy. And I would be petty about it. Justice for # Snyder. Oh, it's funny. Damien Dark was my favorite Arrow villain. Damien Dark is crazy. I love him in Legends, though. He's so funny, especially in the episode where he basically sends himself back. Did he send himself back to hell? Oh, wait, but that whole thing was messed up where he took the sword and stabbed himself. But that whole episode, like the part of the episode, was hilarious. Him saying, "Oh, you're going to marry Constantine? Yeah, you got yourself a powerful dark wizard that just doesn't give a crap." I'm like, all right. The only promos they've shown are one for Painkiller spinoff, the season 4 teaser, and Blacklight coming back promo. Okay. Which is so weird. They always show promos for Nancy Drew. It's so effing annoying. Okay. All right. For a second, we're going to take a really quick break. I'm going to get the fan, because if I don't get the fan, I'm going to literally go to sleep. So I'll be right back. Okay. So I had to make a phone call to a girl that looks strikingly like me to bring me her fan. So I just say, turn on the AC. The AC is not working in here. We have to have the maintenance guys come and fix it, guys. A little off topic. Our apartment complex, a person pretty much got contracted COVID and was still working because they were not symptomatic, and so spread it to 2 other people, and one of them happens to be the repair person, so they have to have a third party come in here, and that's been proving to be really challenging. So my entire studio has no air, but you're gonna hear the air on. So my daughter, yay, thank you, I love you. Mwah. She is my hero. Anyway, back to I can. Thank you. All right. So Justice Lords and Superman brainwashed. I mean, red kryptonite, and it's a hot mess. She's a brilliant, powerful woman fighting godlike beings in formation. Oh, wow. Okay. That actually sounds pretty cool. This love he feels for her sister is a little suspect. I was like, okay. Oh, what the hell was her name? I was just going to say it. What is her name? Cyanide. Was he saying the love of his life was Cyanide and he was saying his sister? Or was Tobias saying, he killed my sister, the love of my life? Because there really wasn't, there wasn't a particle or anything that really separated this sentence. And I was like, I'm really hoping this is not an incestual love. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know. We should get a new app next week. Okay, cool, Kevin. Josh Segarra had a pretty good performance as a villain. They've had a lot of good villains in DC, so I can't talk about, can't put a lot of the villains down. I just think some of the writing's been kind of suspect. But can we talk about how Prue became a better fighter than Phoebe, who've been studying for years, and a quarter of a season, all the girl can do is hover 3 feet? Yeah. Well, that's because Phoebe was too busy trying to find her man, her baby daddy. Come on. They have their parents' worst traits in one body. They would be dead in Star City. Now their powers will protect them in Star City. There's not a lot of metas, so they'd be all right in Star City. They'd probably die in Central City, though. Yes, Waller is a very formidable and competent antagonist, which is why she's one of my favorite DC villains. That makes sense. Maria, I'm sorry, but your skin is popping today. You did that, killing the side pony for the guy. See, I'm popping because I'm sweating. I'm like, so when they tell you that black doesn't sweat, that's not true. It does. It doesn't crack, but it sweats. And I was sweating. I was having my personal summer. I was having my next 5 years of personal summers all in one day. So yeah. But thank you, sir. Triple drinks. It's a triple point to get you to say, Lady Shiva, my boyfriend, our drinking game. I know she remains. You already know. Ooh, things I would do to that woman. Anyway. This looked like how my parents discussed the birds and the bees with me and your phones. I'm glad I could give you that childhood memory back. Now that I think about it, if they used Amanda Waller in Odell's place, they probably could have drawn more of the comic fan base to watch. I'm wondering if they just couldn't use her because, sometimes they don't have license for certain characters. I wonder if Warner Brothers was just like, no, we're using her for Suicide Squad too, so you can't have her. That's probably what happened. Well, I gotta be Black Maria, the bubble. I'm done with you. Off topic, did you know Sailor Moon Eternal will be on Netflix in June? Oh, cool. I have to review that. In my I have a Sailor Neptune wig now too. It just came in, so I got my new Neptune rig. So you're gonna be seeing a lot of me playing around with wigs when I don't feel like brushing my hair. I'm tired. Can Painkiller just take his shirt off? Khalil, his husband, like Harry, but Painkiller can get it like Jimmy. All right, we're keeping this PG-13. It's fine. Animated Amanda, Justice League, and Justice League Unlimited. She had a healthy appetite. She did. I mean, they've always done that. And I mean, I have no problem with that. Amanda is just a very good character either way. And she's very, very fucking devious. And she schemes like no one else. And she does not get the credit she deserves because that woman she literally is gold tier in terms of villains. Even though she's not supposed to be a villain, she's supposed to be somebody. And she's not a hero. She's kind of an anti-hero that is trying to do things for the betterment of society, but she's putting bombs in people's heads. I mean, that's kind of messed up. Will there be a live action or anime? Tobias probably has an antidote knowing how crafty he is. He definitely does. Saw the new Legends of Tomorrow trailer. Can't wait for it. I am super excited. And we were talking about it because they left us on a cliffhanger with Sarah being kidnapped by, I guess, aliens. A UFO got her. I don't know what happened. Cut off Oliver's trust fund or make him pay his fair share so we can all help care as Batman's contingency plan for him. Well, they don't have to. In Arrowverse, he already lost all his money. Let's see. I can't wait. I better see Lena get this overarching Arrowverse role as head of Checkmate and Task Force. The character deserves this, and it would be great for the whole series. I agree with that. Who's your favorite Sailor Soldier? Sailor Neptune. I love her. But I love all Sailor Moon characters. But yeah, my second favorite is Jupiter because I would really do things to her too. I can't wait. I better see Lena get this overarching Arrowverse role as head of Checkmate and Task Force. The character deserves this and would be great for the whole series. Yeah, I agree. I really feel like that actually would be a very cool concept if they did that, but I don't know if Lena's going to want to stay in Lena's actress is going to want to stay in the Arrowverse. I don't know if she had a baby too. For some reason I thought she was pregnant last year too, but I don't know. I could be wrong. Neptune for the crown and the third gender ones. I also love Uranus. Whenever I say that though, people are like, you love my anus, but yeah, I love the Outers. The Outers are my favorite Senshi team because they're like Endgame, so but I want to be Neptune, and then I would do Haruka, and I would do Makoto, but that's a whole other conversation. Demonetized. Like, even though this is not made for kids, they should leave me alone. All right, we're going to talk about in 2 minutes. We're going to talk about Supergirl. Like I said, Supergirl is a lot easier to talk about because it was cute and quirky and funny, but it wasn't a major. Nothing really contributed a huge to the plot of what's actually happening in the Phantom Zone and anything is happening in National City. So, but it was kind of cool. So we'll talk about it a little bit in a second. But let me see if we had any more. Oh, your daughter's cute. Thank you. Yeah, she tries. Let's see. OMG, Ray Alexander, why did you have to put the incest thought in my head? Now I can't unsee it. I mean, he didn't put it there. Tobias did. I mean, he literally said, just like this. He said he took, my sister from me and the love of my life. I did not hear him say end the love of my life. He said my sister. No, I can't remember if he said my sister Tori, but he said my sister. And then he didn't say anything. And then he said the love of my life. So it seemed like what he really was saying was his sister was the love of his life. And I don't know what context he meant that in. And that is potentially a very incestual thing to say. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm doing a lot of kind of Yuri manga reviews for my other channel, which is why I haven't posted one yet, a new video since last week. And there is an overwhelming theme in some of them, side characters that potentially show Yuri. I mean, so incest in Yuri. And I'm just like, I don't understand if this is a Japanese thing, but it seems to be in a lot of stuff that I'm seeing lately. And I don't understand why people find that attractive. I don't. It's just that I'm not into incest. So that's just it's very creepy to me. But so if Tobias is going down that road, I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Girl, we don't sweat, we glisten. That's true. We sparkle. Not like that Twilight crap, but we sparkle. Okay, I think I already saw this one. Okay, scrolling down. Sail lesbians for the win. Hell, yep. You already know. Uranus is a player, and I'll play with her. It's fine. Get them thumbs up, y'all. Yes, get them thumbs up, people. All right. Wait, you have another channel, Maria? Why am I just finding this out? Yes, it's called Approach the Yuri. So I talk about everything LGBT. It's just new. It's brand new. I only have 3 videos up right now. So, but if you're about to get a big influx of videos coming soon, because I have a bunch of them already made. I'm going to start uploading them. But it is just, instead of Approach the Nerd, it's Approach the Yuri. So if you want to subscribe, that would be awesome. But I'm going to pull open, let's see, my notes for the wonderful, wonderful Supergirl. I want to say, first of all, the actors, the younger versions of the characters they got for Alex, the younger actor for, of course, Kara, and the young Cat Grant was channeling the older counterparts, especially the actress that's playing the young version of Cat Grant in this episode. I was like, wow, I'm seeing Cat Grant all over her. She had the snap. She was switching the same way. I'm like, they did a really good job casting Cat Grant. So I thought that was pretty cool. You're evil, but I like the way you think. Hold on. Just so you know how to spell Yuri. I don't know why you don't know how to spell that, but it's okay. There we go. All right. So we know back in the last episode, they already said they had to go back in time to Midvale, where Alex and Kara went to high school, because we have to have our Back to the Future episode, because the Flash had a Back to the Future episode and the Legends have Back to the Future episodes all the time. And they've had technically 2 prom episodes in Legends of Tomorrow. So why would we not have one that is centered on prom? So let's talk about the cute stuff in this episode. Brainy, like the scene with Brainy and Nia that I love the most was when she was literally singing the 9 to 5 Dolly Parton song to Brainy because he was having issues. And I was like, all right. I'm here for it, because I always shipped them. I thought they were adorable, but it's just moments like this, because Brainy is so neurotic. He is so neurotic to the point where he is binge eating. He has BED. He is literally eating his feelings. He's eating boxes of donuts. I mean, he doesn't care what in the world that you are eating or you are doing. If he has some food nearby, that is how this logically thinking man, deals with his issues. And I love it. It's because his emotion cap is off. He don't know what to do with all these feelings. He's got too many feelings, and he is deciding to do what about half of the people in this country do. We eat our feelings. It's just what it is. But I was down for it. But that whole scene was adorable to me. And she's like, when I was younger, I used to sing working 9 to 5. I was like, she's literally singing the 9 to 5 song. Now, she was 12 in 2009. So we know that movie was a lot older. So yeah. So I thought that was cool. But I liked her voice too. I liked her voice. So that was really cute. Another thing that I noticed in this episode, this is more of an actor, is Peter Sodarso was actually playing, what's his name? Kenny? I think it's Kenny, Kara's boyfriend. Yeah, Kenny, who is Ninja Steel Blue, which I thought was really hilarious. So good to see he's still working. But Ninja Steel Blue is young Kara's boyfriend. And so at this point, Alex has just come back on a break from Stanford, and she's there to visit her family. And apparently this is when she takes Kara and Kenny and drops them off at prom. And then there's a meteor that comes. And of course, Kara supposedly goes up and hits it, but it's full of kryptonite and it ends up injuring her. It's the first time she's ever bled out, and they need the DNA. That's how they want to get the DNA. They want to watch this girl go and hit this meteor, endangering her life to get her blood. That's what's meant to happen. Unfortunately, something goes wrong. The ship gets damaged. Their time, literally the regulator, I think the time regulator gets damaged. And so they get there 24 hours early. And they're not supposed to be seen by anybody because, it's pretty much the Back to the Future rules. If you see yourself or you change or alter something, you alter somebody's timeline. But I mean, hell, Crisis has already done this because Kenny is supposed to be dead. Kenny died in the previous Earth. And he's no longer dead, and him and Kara have been dating his entire time. So now it's making me wonder what else has changed in the other Arrowverse shows. Like, people that are supposed to be dead are no longer dead. So why can't Barry's parents be alive? Like, why can't a lot of the characters that were killed be back? Because if Kenny's death was not a fixed point, then what makes all the other people's deaths a fixed point? It's very confusing. I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, I kind of feel like Kate Kanan and Beth's mother should be alive because why is her death concrete? Why are all the deaths and all the backstory concrete in Batwoman, and nothing seems to have changed at all in Batwoman? But yet we're learning through Supergirl that, and of course we see in Superman and Lois that of course things have changed. So it's just very strange what Crisis has affected on what shows and what it has not affected. It's just very, I don't get it. And it just goes to prove of what I consider the sloppy writing model of the CW, especially where Crisis is concerned. It's just too convenient to throw something else and say, oh, Crisis did it. Because that's literally what I keep hearing. Oh, that's Crisis. No, that needs to be unilateral. That should have affected everybody across the board. We should have seen changes in, like, there's not been one change that I've noticed in Freeland at all. Because when Jefferson went back, he stepped right back into what happened with the ASA and the Makovians. Like, nothing changed at all in Freeland. So the only thing is they knew about it. They knew it happened. So it's just stupid. So I did not like that. I'm not trying to kill Kenny because, South Park doesn't want to do it. So I don't want to do it either. So Kenny needs to live, but you can't have him live and then just not. You know what I mean? It's just, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Leave that alone. So, long story short, they hide the ship. Dreamer shows her powers. Brainy uses his ring to use his telekinesis to move the ship. It starts off though with Kara showing that she uses her heat ray vision to make a big split in the ground, and then Dreamer and Brainy pretty much take over, all proving that they're all aliens. And so Nia and Brainy are pretending they're from a kind of like I think they call it a psychic world or whatever. It's a dying planet that they're fleeing from, and they have to fix their ship in 24 hours to catch up with their travel companions. And so, Kara's like, I want to help you. And Alex is like, you can even see on Alex's face, she's like, crap. I don't want to get involved. We shouldn't get involved. This is endangering who you are. And then she found out that while she's been away, that Kara and Kenny have been pretty much Nancy Drewing and Scooby-Dooing all over town. Like, Nancy Drew seems to be a model for a lot of stuff in the CW, even though the show's not really doing well. So Kara and Kenny have been helping the authorities basically around town, superheroing. That's basically their pastime. It's what they do. And Alex is ticked off. And of course, they go back to their old argument, how Alex sacrifices everything for Kara to keep her identity, keep her safe, not having anything for herself. And they just the way the sisters fight, which we know that they eventually grow out of when they're older. But yeah, the whole dynamic with Alex and Kara younger, it's still that even Alex's actress looks so similar to older Alex that it's creepy. Like, it's very creepy. But I did have a question looking at young Kara. In the pilot and young Kara, they both have like kind of darkest mousy brown hair, but yet she's full blonde as an adult. And like, are they telling us that she bleaches her Kryptonian hair because her hair is darker. And I never understood how she went from that to this really bleach blonde, almost like yellowish blonde hair, as an adult, because that's not normally how that works. So I was just very confused on that. All right. So they want to get the this dysprosium, which is pretty much an element that is at Alex and Kara's mother's place of work. So, of course, they have a plan to go and steal it. I mean, Alex is going to use her mother's badge. They're going to sneak it and get it. Well, Cat Grant is there because she has decided that she's not going to be a gossip columnist. She's going to go out there and get a story, and she's going to get the story about the new superhero in town that is the Miracle of Midvale, and she's going to make Lois Lane start writing for the classified ads. That's literally her goal. She is rivaling Lois Lane, and I love that she still has it because this has literally been her thing her entire career. She's always tried to up Lois Lane. I always thought that was pretty funny that they kept that in. So she's in town chasing after who she thinks is the next superhero, the next big story. Simultaneously, though, there are these two aliens. One is the leader is named Naxum Torque. He owns a cosmic menagerie or zoo, and he wants a Kryptonian. And they've already implied that he encountered Superman, and Superman beat his A. But then they detected another Kryptonian on Earth, so now they're trying to get, the Kryptonian for their space zoo. And at the same time, Dreamer's been having this dream about a cage with a pink tiger inside of it, or I think it was a tiger, and trying to interpret the dreams, and she doesn't know what to do, and she figures she's in 2009, so she decides to call her mom. And I'm impressed that she knows her mother's number because, we're in an age of, millennials and under, and I'm not even going to say millennials because I'm kind of the same way. I have my cell phone. It has your name. I don't memorize your number anymore. So like you go back to 2009, you're like, I need to call so-and-so. I don't know their damn number. I don't see my cell phone doesn't exist. So I don't have my contact list. But yeah, I just found it interesting that she automatically knew the number. And again, it is her mom. So I'll give her something. I'll give her a little slack on that. But she wanted to call her mother to hear her mother's voice, and she got the voicemail because she's having trouble interpreting her dreams. And we've known she's been having this issue. She's been saying it for a few episodes, even more now, that she really is having problems interpreting her dreams. So I thought it was really cute that, she got to have that moment, but Brainy once again started freaking out. He didn't have any food nearby when she told him that she was doing that. And then he started doing push-ups. And I'm like, Brainy's losing his shiz. Oh, losing it. Losing it. All right. So like I said, there wasn't a lot in this episode, but we do have our alien hunters. They try to basically get the Kryptonian to expose him or herself by having a truck with no driver just fly down this road. I kept thinking, this is Midvale. What if nobody was on that road? It's just a truck. I mean, they just happened to be there, but there was no other traffic. So then they're wasting their time driving this truck down this long country road for no reason because it's never going to hit anybody. And so there's no reason for the Kryptonian to ever come out. But lucky for them, it works. Dreamer's able to dream into the driver's seat or passenger seat and see that there's no one driving in the driver's seat. And they're able to stop it. And of course, Kat is following them. A few scenes before that, she did kind of intercept Alex and them when they were trying to go get the crystal out of their mom's display, because it's on display at her mother's job. And so Alex basically said, there's nothing to find in Midvale, nothing. And of course, Kat is like a dog with a bone, or without a bone, in this case, trying to get a bone. And so she starts following. I guess she started following Alex and them because she didn't believe him. But she was following them when the truck incident occurred. And they were able to get away from her. So they're dealing with Kat, trying to figure out what's really going on in town in Midvale, all of the mysterious miracles that keep occurring. And she is not buying it. And then on top of that, we've got, Nia's trying to figure out her dreams, and she can't find her dreams. And, she's having issues. Brainy's eating his feelings. He made a 3D printer with an old 90s computer and film equipment, or like parts from film equipment, and literally thought it was going to like just go. And then Kenny's like, yeah, dude, that's going to take hours. This is the 90s. Basically, I mean, it's 2003, dude. It's not going to happen. Or no, 2009, sorry. And so he starts eating more. And then he got caught going to the vending machine. and then ended up going and being recruited to play baseball until Kenny's like, Alex is going to be mad. And he's thinking about future Alex is like, crap, because she made it clear that he is not to go back in the past and mess up her past. And that's exactly what they're doing. All the choices they made basically interfered with Maxim Torque being arrested, because he was going to be arrested 3 days from where they are in Uruguay, but now he was still at large. So they altered the timeline, which is messed up. Kenny wants to stay in Midvale for college and go to Midvale University with Kara, but she wants to go to National City University, and got in. And he built a really cute base for them. He even took the log that the first place they first kissed and put it in as decor. And he has this whole life planned out for them. And can't tell him. She can't tell him and let her know that she wants to go or she plans on going to National City, which I think, of course, is going to happen. So, yeah, it's a bunch of stuff. Everyone's dealing with their feelings in this episode. And the last scene we saw, they were able to track down the alien kidnappers, and they end up getting caught in a trap. So, and we know they're going to get out of the trap because they actually showed the preview for their episode for next week. So we know that they are going to go through, and they are going to get to prom, and all that stuff's going to happen. The meteor is going to come. So then we know all of this is going to happen. But I don't know. There's just so many moments in this episode, and I was just like, this is really cute. But I mean, it's just cute, and it's cute fluff. So there was nothing really actionable towards the plot of what's happening in the rest of the season. This is just cute Back to the Future, Marty, meeting your mom in the past type stuff, with them meeting Alex, and even cute little comments how Alex came in and Kara was like, oh, she's a little uptight and bossy. You basically get used to it. And then Alex Nia's like, yeah, I bet I will, which of course she does, because she does in the future. So I don't know. I thought it was a cute episode. I just thought that it wasn't like Black Lightning. Black Lightning was there's so much conspiracy and so much, what the hell cliffhangers going on in this show. And then you go to Supergirl and you're kind of like, oh, it's fluff. It's adorable. It's that filler episode that I needed in the middle of the last season of Supergirl. So yeah. So let's see. Comments. Also, no way was Kara going to tell him Kenny after he showed her the base. Yeah, he did kind of put her on the spot, even though he didn't realize he was putting her on the spot. That's the sad thing about Kenny, is that he doesn't even realize anything's going on. So I think Galate would make a good Doom Patrol villain. I want them to bring Bumblebee to Doom Patrol. I don't know why they don't bring Karen Beecher there. That's stupid. I love hearing Kara say little cuz the Clark is such an Easter egg. I wish they would use more. Yeah. I mean, she just needs to go see little cuz. But I mean, time travel issues. I mean, everyone seems to have time travel issues except for the Avengers. I'm like, they can just do whatever they want in the past and it doesn't matter. I kind of wish we could have seen Galatea show up on the show. That I think a lot of characters, they don't have the license to. That's what I keep thinking. Like, they didn't. For the longest time, they couldn't have even Bruce Wayne. And then we had Hush, the episode of Hush in Batwoman. Then we had what Bruce Wayne looks like. But I don't think they have actual license for some of the characters that are being used in the DCEU. That's what I believe is happening. And we only get away with the Flash in them because they were already established before they even cast crazy Ezra Miller and have established the Flashpoint movie and all that in the, Justice League. Had they already established the Flash, we would probably never gotten a Flash TV series. At least we wouldn't have got a Barry Allen Flash, which may have been a cool thing, but yeah, whatever. I like the way Supergirl operates. Supergirl went and saved that truck like it was hers. That's my truck. She said, it's all mine. I mean, you're going to take a truck. I thought Nia saved her mom's number in her contacts. I didn't see her look at her phone, though. I thought because the phone was the one in the ship, right? I don't know. I have to go back and look at that scene again. It seemed like she did it from memory, but you could be right. But if she didn't, then that's impressive. I remember when Matrix was Supergirl and she would shapeshift from a brunette to a blonde. Yep. I want to know why Kara goes from a brunette to a blonde. That's all I want to know. Is that one of her Kryptonian powers? Phone books. Well, phone books only really work when you're in the same, city or state. I don't know if we've established what we have. I don't remember where they said her mom was from or where they were living. Also, Hose Ellen collectors were cartoony as hell. They really were. They look like they should be on Fraggle Rock. Like, I guess it was like, chase your blues away. I mean, at least bleaching her hair makes some sense than wearing a wig like the older Supergirl comics. Touche. I give you that. And actually, the original Helen Hunt movie, too. She put on the black short wig. And then I think they even did that in Smallville. Linda would put on a wig. Yeah, she put on a wig and glasses. And she was Linda. But that was near the end of the series, I believe. They better talk to Barry so he could school them on a little thing called Flashpoint. I mean, he is the resident time traveler. No, he is the resident screw time upper. That's what he is. Barry Allen is essentially Crisis on Infinite Earth. I missed the wig from the animated Superman show. Like I say, I think there was episodes where no, it wasn't. I was thinking that that Wonder Woman with Linda Carter. I think she just put her hair up all the time. She did something different with her hair. She never wore it down. So because you can't have the same hair unless you're on Black Lightning. Because like JJ can have the same exact hairstyle. She can wear the same ear. Like if she wore her earrings, and I need to go check that. If this girl had on earrings, and it's the same earrings she had at school, Araya's dumb. Like, and everybody around her is dumb. They need to talk to the legends. Yeah, I mean they're to the point now where they've screwed up history so many times. I know how to instantly fix it. I'm like, let's see. We don't talk about the Supergirl movie. I'm sorry. Let's see. Mon-El better appear before the end, and Kara better end the series joining the Legion with Brainy in the future. That is one theory a lot of people have, but that's hard because she inspires them to be Legion. So I don't know how that would work if your hero all of a sudden came to the future and was on your team. That would be weird. Also, no way was Kara going to tell him Kenny after each other. Yeah, I think the base was cute. I think I read that one again, but it's okay. I liked it. Flash, how do you screw up time more than the legends? That's almost impressive in its own right. I know. I mean, how many times has he done it? That's just sad. Especially when he was like going to save his mom. And he was like, I can't change the past. I can't affect something in the future might change. And I can't change that and blah, 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 blah. And then his dad gets stabbed and he goes and does it. And I'm like, just not right, man. Right. Why haven't the Time Lords come after Barry? Fired. No one has messed up the time more than him. Because the Time Lords are all gone. And now we have the Timeless Child. And don't get me started on that storyline. So, yeah. So, in retrospect, they can't. But they can, depending on what period of time they're in, I guess is what I'm saying. She does join them, though, to live in a time more closely related to the technology she grew up in on Krypton. She disappears in our current history. Yeah, I just don't know if that's going to happen in the Arrowverse, because in the Arrowverse, they've pretty much established that she inspired them. There's a statue of her, kind of like how Barry's Flash Museum exists, but they've never. And wouldn't Brainy know that? Because I don't think time is fluid for him. I feel like he kind of knows all of these events. Then again, scratch that. Crisis on Infinite Poop probably changed all that. So you could be right. They could, because of Crisis, everything could be different now. So it could be a different future, a different, like multiple futures, multiple lines. I don't even think they realize that there are multiple Earths still, that they just basically reassign people to different Earths now. They used to be on that Earth. You're going to go on Prime Earth, and then you're on Earth too. Because Stargirl, I know, is on Earth too. So yeah, I think potentially they can do whatever. Yes, loophole. Well, that's what Crisis is. Crisis of Infinite Loopholes is literally what that amounts to. That's that whole plot. The Master and Doctor Who are only the Time Lords left. We'll have a Flash. They coming for you. Well, I mean, like I said, if you've watched the last series of Doctor Who before this new series, and minus the special that just came out, they've already established who the Doctor really is. And It has caused a lot of controversy in the Doctor Who community. It's one of the reasons I haven't covered it. I was like, if I do this, it's going to make a lot of people angry. And generally, I don't care, but it was just a headache I wasn't in the mood to do. Just like with Picard, I'm a big Trekkie fan, and I like Picard, but I knew that there are points of Picard that would cause a lot of issues, and I couldn't defend it. So I'm like, I'm having more questions than I like the series. So it's going to make me seem like I hate Star Trek. And so I decided not to do that. I didn't feel like doing it. It's more of a personal thing. I don't care if anybody else gets mad. It's more like I have too many questions and things I didn't like versus what I did. So it's a thing, you guys, the thing. She isn't pivotal to the current timeline. She has already accomplished her major things in the present. It's the Clark and his son's show for Kryptonians in the present. Pretty much. He needs to watch no, not Jeremy. Why did I just forget their other son's name? It's been too long, guys. Or Jordan. They need to watch Jordan. I feel like Jordan is going to be Brightburn. They need to watch him. Let me move up. Okay. Maria, you would kill the Leah Buns. I could see you in the Star Wars universe in a time far, far away. I have those. When I was younger, I used to wear those and the long braids. I used to have extremely long hair, and my mother used to braid them into these long loops. It was crazy. I'll have to find pictures of when I was younger. It's fun. And now my daughter has very, very long hair and does almost the exact same thing. But yeah, I play with my hair all the time, but I also like playing with wigs because they're cheap and they're fun. So I will have more wigs on. I'll probably even wear one on my next stream because I have 3 new ones and I like playing with them. So we will see. We will see. I wish Deceased would get an animated movie. Yes. I love Deceased. Oh my gosh. I want them to animate that and the Batman Who Laughs, but not all of the Batman Who Laughs. And see, when you get into that realm, it gets tricky because some of it was good and some of it was very effing weird. So, but I don't think they could ever do a live action version of either of those. And that's sad because could you imagine how cool it would be if they did an accurate version of Deceased and live action telling as a miniseries? Wow, that would be on point. The Batman Who Laughs is my favorite. I like I said, the Batman Who Laughs is great. It just spins off into very weird directions. like mini sequels of it are very weird. Too dark if they complain about something. They couldn't handle it. They could not handle it. And yes, it would definitely be on point. I think I even said when I first read I call them rounds of Deceased, like the original first concept from when Cyborg gets turned into the Carrier, basically, and he's also the Cure. That would have been really hard. It would have been so hard for them to do, but if they did it, this is going to sound weird, but I would love for it. If they did an Arrowverse version of it, I would love for it to start on Legends of Tomorrow because Constantine is on there. And this would be a great time to introduce Zatanna because I just think that would have been really cool. It would have been very, very cool. But then you need Booster Gold and you'd have to have a lot of, you have to have a lot of heroes they haven't established in the Arrowverse. And it just wouldn't work. But I would love for them to do HBO Max to do a Deceased. I think that would be very, very cool, but it won't. I understand Alex's point of view, but her cousin is Superman. What does she expect? Well, I don't think back then that they knew that, did they? I have to go back and watch the other. Remember they had like an episode. Was it in season 2 or season 3 where we first saw them when they were young and they were showing the backstory, how Kara and Alex became, really close. I need to watch that because I don't remember if she initially knew that Kal-El was her cousin. Well, she knew who Kal-El was. I don't know if she knew if Superman was Kal-El. I have to go back and look at that. She could have and just didn't tell anybody. I would like to see Identity Crisis as an animated movie. That would be cool. Please don't put that in Arrowverse, though. Do not do that in the Arrowverse. Can Kara get Deanna some pants? Has she made it yet for a functional costume? Kara, okay, so let me tell you about Diana. Diana doesn't give a crap. She does not care about pants. She don't care about clothes. She don't care any of that stuff. There is no one that can tell Diana what she can wear because Diana's going to wear what she wants to wear, and that is it. The only time that remotely doesn't track is in Wonder Woman 1984, and we don't talk about that at all. Did not hate everything about Wonder Woman 1984, just her sexually assaulting a guy without his permission, and how she learned to fly, and how she used the invisible jet. That all was just too much for me. Yeah, Superman gave Kara to the Danvers for safekeeping. Okay. I can't remember that. It's been a minute. Let's see. Let us see. Trying to make sure I did not, because I scrolled down too fast. So when they eventually do a comic version of Supergirl TV series, they should do more of those type of flashbacks. I wish they would do. I don't know what they're going to do, honestly. I mean, it would be cool to have a live action Young Justice. But again, putting that in the hands of Arrowverse CW would be very scary. It would give us, we'd see a lot of like superheroes that we would not necessarily ever get to see. But again, it would be very, very challenging. So I don't know. It'd be weird. Also in Legends, even a superhero show, they seem to focus more on time travel and because Legends isn't based on a comic, which is cool. Yes, they have comic characters, most comic characters and villains in it, but it's not a canon. No, there was never a team that did this. I don't know why though. It seemed like a really cool idea to have. You wouldn't have to have our crew that we have now in Arrowverse. You could just. It would be interesting that like literally have like let's see, who would I put on that? And no, I'm not going to say Lady Shiva. I could say Lady Shiva. What am I going to say? Put Black Canary on, yeah, I put Black Canary on the ship because it would be fitting because technically when Sarah first got there, she was technically Black Canary and then she was White Canary. So that would make her there. And I don't know if I would put like a younger version of Canary or if I would put, That's true. If they were all adults, then that would be cool because there's so many people you can pull. I would say I would put all the people I always think should be in stuff. Like I'd have Vixen, the actual Vixen on the show. I probably would have Bumblebee on the show because Bumblebee is just cool. Maybe Stargirl. But if I put Stargirl there, I would not put Atom Smasher because then that would be a Nate counterpart in a way. And when they got it on, it would be very inappropriate because she is much younger than him. But I probably would stick Shazam on there because that would be really cool. So Shazam being on there with Stargirl. And technically they did have a little thing for a little while until people thought that it was really creepy. They didn't realize that Shazam was really the same age as Courtney because no one knew his real identity. But I think that would be very cool. I just have to figure out if I would put Future State Justice League members or Golden Age Justice League members or Reinvented New 52 or post Justice League members. But it'd be kind of cool. I would love to see who you would put on the Wave Rider. But I wouldn't put any villains, even though I really like Rory. I wouldn't put any villains there because they're not redeemed in the comics. So I would keep it comic accurate. So I think that would be kind of cool. But I would love to have a team of people who normally wouldn't get along. Or they could even be like B or C members of the Justice League that are just there. I would make Barbara Gordon the captain of the Wave Rider. That would be cool. She'd be running stuff instead of just having Birds of Prey. She'd be running the Time Bureau and the Legends. I think that would be really cool. I really would love to see a comic like that. I'm gonna have to spend some time thinking about some people I want to throw on that team, but that right there would be cool. I don't know why they haven't done that. Missed opportunity. If Supergirl has taught us anything, is that Kara and company suck at secrets. Yeah. I really like the Suicide Squad. Could you imagine Suicide Squad members having to redeem themselves on a Wave Rider 2 through space? That would be cool. And then having Amanda Waller still calling the shots as they go fix crap in time. Wow, that would be really cool. The only one accurately that could be a time traveler right now for me would be Booster Gold, but I wouldn't want to have him on the ship because he gets on my nerves. I don't think Birds would survive or the Bat family without Barbara. She's the glue. Well, then put the Bat family on there. Bats traveling through space and time. Couldn't Anissa absorb Jennifer's powers for every breath she takes because technically she is an electromagnet and as strong as the pressure is used when holding breath? In the comics, when they used to fight, they would get into it. The sisters had a lot of drama in the comics, but the problem with Anissa is they're downplaying all of her powers now. Like, she's not using a third of what she should be using. And I don't know if it's because she's pretending still to be Blackbird. I don't know. I don't know why. I have no idea why she's doing that or why they're doing that. Like, the whole scene, anytime she fights now and she gets her butt kicked, like even with Ishmael, it didn't make any sense to me. It's just, it's hard to suspend my disbelief with instances like that, because Black Lightning was really kicking his ass today. And Anissa is technically stronger than him. And it doesn't make any sense. And she can take hits harder than him. So I don't understand. I know he has those blades, but still, I don't get it. So, science majors in the house. I mean, sometimes you gotta know. You gotta know what you know. I mean, Nissa was throwing tanks, and now she's getting her butt kicked by this man. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know. It's like the last season. They're like, all right, guys, we got less money on the CG. So we're dwindling down. We got to make sure we can pay our support staff and crew. So everybody has a cool, extraordinary OP power. You just got the P instead of the OP. Everybody's downgraded. Nissa has been really downpowered. She has been, I don't know what it is. It's like she's grounded. I don't get it. Like, she's been thrown down a lot, even in Painkiller's episode. I understand how his ability works, but I also understand how her power works, and he should not have been able to touch her if she actually was using her active abilities. I don't get that. But you know what? It's okay. Just like how Black Lightning should be way more powerful. He should. I mean, that's everybody. But I mean, this goes back to the problem with Mr. Terrific. I have no problem with him being gay. Obviously, I'm queer, so that's never a problem for me. And his sexuality never was a point of anything to me. I couldn't even tell you who. I don't even remember who Mr. Terrific was with in the comics, because that's not what I know him for. I know him for being literally on the same level as every genius, like, that we've ever come across in the DC universe. He's super smart. And I mean, super smart. He's like Blue Marvel level. He's Reed Richards level. Like, he's up there. And in the Arrowverse, when I first showed him and he was talking, I remember they had the part where Felicity lost her ability to use her legs, and he came up with the chip to try and make her walk again. And then after that, it was like, now, Curtis, you're just a yes man to Arrow. I'm like, Oliver can't even freaking do a quadratic equation. That man probably doesn't even know what 4 times 4 is. And this man is telling you how to do your job. And I'm like, wow. Okay. And it was kind of a character assassination. And then what really made me upset about that whole situation, I'm going to say it here. Let's get some drama wheels going. You ready? Let's do it. I need to start doing what Ernie does, because Ernie likes to get these danger. But see, if I did that, I'd do that on everything I say. It'd be too hard to do that. I mean, every time I talk, it'd be danger, 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 danger. So that probably wear out really fast. But I'm going to say it. This is going to be highly, highly controversial and highly problematic. And I would just love it. I'm going to love you guys. And I'm going to love to say this to you guys. Real talk. I don't care. So, how come everybody was cool with Oliver Queen, blonde biatch, talking smack to my boy Curtis? But then when Iris, who doesn't know shit, was made leader in Star Labs, all of a sudden, that's an effing problem. Look at the blink. Just saying. Oh, got snap, man. Snap. Look. Drop the brush because I ain't got a mic right now. I'm not dropping this one. I would drop some more stuff, but it's fragile. But you know what I'm saying. Ray, Curtis was a genius. Oliver Queen was not a genius. And Oliver Queen was telling Curtis how to do his damn job. But yet Iris, who is not a genius, was put in charge of Star Labs. So think of her as the black female version of what Oliver Queen was doing to Curtis. And that was a problem. When Oliver was talking smack and saying, you should do this, and there's, if you're going to do that to my girl Iris, then you need to do that to my boy Oliver, because he was dumb as shit. I'm sorry. I'm just going to be real with you. He was not intelligent. That's why the company was never left to him, because they knew he couldn't run it. I mean, Mama's boyfriend, the cool ass British guy, was actually running the company. It wasn't him. It was never going to be him. He was just going to spend the money. He was a playboy. So no, Oliver Queen did not. I want to see your transcript from school, Oliver. Just saying. And I agree that Iris does not have science knowledge, but people keep forgetting that Iris was a freaking psychology major working on her thesis. When you work on your thesis, as speaking as somebody who's married to someone who has a degree in psychology, that is a very big deal. It also means that you can have leadership ability because you are a psychologist. Like, people forget that. They forget that because the Arrowverse is very inconsistent. And there you go. If you go back and watch season 1 of Arrow, you will hear Iris say, I took a journalism class because you said I should do this as an elective and it would be fun. I'm not having fun. I blame you. To Barry. In episode 2 or 3, season 1, she was a psychology major. She wanted to be a cop. Joe said no. So she majored in psychology. And psychology actually means a science-related field because psychology is the study of the mind. Oliver has no degree at all in anything except telling people they failed the city. Just saying. Just saying. Just saying. Just saying. You should say, Ray, Iris is no psychologist. I'd rather go see Maggie and see Iris for my mental illness. Well, no, she didn't pursue all of her psychology. She was doing her thesis. I think in the pilot episode, her thesis was on the laptop, and then Barry ran up to go get it and then got hit or whatever. And then Eddie's managed to retrieve it. And that's how, they met and got together. But I always think it's funny that some characters have like more leniency to do things than others. So I personally don't think that Iris should have been leader at Star Labs either, but I don't think she should have got the hate for it, especially since Oliver should not have been running a damn thing in there. He couldn't even turn the computer on in season 1 or 2. So without Felicity, he wouldn't be able to do anything and track anyone. So it's very interesting, the difference in how these characters are portrayed and how accepted by their fans. Just saying. Just saying. Green Arrow was actually created by a smaller comic company as a Batman knockoff before it was brought out by DC. Oh, absolutely. And the stories were similar, except that in the comic version, I think his parents died in a boating accident, if I remember correctly. And he inherited the money. Now he actually did run Queen Industries in the comics, but he never did that in Arrowverse. Hell, Felicity even was running his company. Everybody was running his company but him because he don't know how to do it. He don't know what he's doing. That man can't do anything. I mean, I'm just putting it out there. Just putting it out there. But like I said, I know it's problematic. People get very controversial, but that's just how I feel. Oliver Queen used to really get on my nerves because he would do things. He would kill people. He would rationalize it for the betterment of, the mission and the greater good. But then somebody else would do the same thing and he called them murderers. Or he's like, you can't be killing people. I'm like, man, you do it like every other week. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, every other week. How are you going to judge somebody else for stuff you've been doing since episode 1 of season 1? Oh, I don't want to hear that. I would want to see the Charm Ones versus the World Killers and see how it would go. The Power 3 would probably be OP in the fight. Yeah, that's possible. That is possible. Batman does kill people. Yes, he does. Especially the Batman who laughs. He kills people a lot. Oh, that was funny. Snyder did just come out recently with an article on it. Well, I mean, Batman doesn't kill Joker because he doesn't want to be like Joker. We don't know how many how many like just regular, criminals he accidentally killed or harmed in the process of arresting them. We don't really know. We know in the Arrowverse he killed Joker. In alternate universes of comics he's killed before, but traditionally he's not supposed to subscribe to killing, which for me never made sense. But I get it. In Marvel Universe, Punisher is kind of like the OP of killing. He has no problem killing anything and anybody, anytime. And I guess they didn't want to have a character like Batman, a DC character like that, even though both are very much affected by the deaths of their family members. But I don't know. Sometimes I can kind of see Batman just going Punisher, just going Frank on people. I don't know why. I mean, why not? I mean, literally with the Joker, it never made sense. This is a clown slitting 5-year-olds' throats on national television. What he did to Barbara was so messed up. I mean, he's just done nothing but cause grief, pain, and death. And you still are like, if I kill him, then I become him, basically. And it's like, no, you just killed the clown. If I see a clown outside my door, I mean, whatever happens, happens, because I don't like clowns. I mean, I just figured that was self-defense. I'm like, just a clown. Isn't this a part of the Strength Force? In what universe? In Arrowverse? No. No. Bruce Dad is my favorite Batman, really, and his mom is. Yes, Flash. Oh my gosh, they probably are not going to do this. I know they have Michael Keaton coming back as Batman, and that would be on point because I effing love Flashpoint. I love the scene where, and it's almost instant for the mother. Like literally, Bruce gets gunned down, and she takes out her lipstick, and she's like smearing it all around her mouth, and literally became Joker. And it made so much more sense to me why Thomas Wayne couldn't kill his wife, because she was Joker. That's why he could never kill Joker. That to me made sense. This bromance that Bruce has with Joker, never understood it. I never understood it. It's for me, it's so weird because in Injustice, when Superman's the one that kills Joker, and then goes crazy and becomes like this dictator, totalitarian, like crazy person. Batman was still like, you crossed the line. I'm like, dude, he put a bomb in his wife's freaking heart and put kryptonite and made him, or had the kryptonite spray or whatever, and made him feel like, no, it was the toxin, the neurotoxin, made him basically think that he was fighting Doomsday, took his wife out into space. Superman killed his own wife. And then when her heart stopped, Metropolis exploded. So what? I just want to ask Bruce, hey, Bruce, what is it? What does Joker have to finally effing do to get you to kill his ass? We know what happened in The Batman Who Laughs. We know why Joker ends up dying. We know why, like with the whole kids that he was experimenting on with the toxic gas, and Bruce finally snapping and basically offing Joker. And then like the fail safe was he got blasted with it and then went crazy and became, well, I mean, he was badass. I'm gonna be like a lot of you, but we understand how that was in that particular comic run. But almost every comic run I've ever seen, almost animated movie, that man always, and I mean always, says, I can't kill him. If I kill him, then I become the darkness, or I become him. And I'm like, no, you are killing a crazy clown. It's okay. He has crossed the line of humanity at this point. I don't subscribe to killing people, but I mean, you're not killing a person. You're killing the Joker. Let it go. Just let it go. Because every time you don't, you put him in Arkham and it's like a revolving door. He's like, I'm only going to be here for 5 minutes. I'm like, Oliver Queen in Arrow, where I was on this island for 5 minutes, within the 5 years. I have a way off at any time. I can get out of the cell at any time. So like, you put me back in this prison and you already know I will see you again next Thursday. It doesn't make any effing sense. No. If they put Joker on basically an equivalent of the Raft, it wouldn't matter. He would still get out. And Joker just put him right back. I mean, Batman will put him right back. Batman's like, put him back in Arkham. Put him back here. Put him in the insane asylum. What? You put him in freaking, you put him in every asylum they have in Gotham. And he just keeps making women fall in love with him, like Harlequin. And what happens? They get him out of jail. The man needs to go. Put him in space and leave him there. Just throw him in there. Get some, like, seriously, get some red kryptonite. Like, find a Kryptonian, give it to him. Say, take this clown up there, and then let it go. I don't effing understand why they don't do it. So I've never understood that. That's been a conversation I've been having, God, for 15 years with friends. I've actually, no, longer. I think I was talking about this back in high school. So 23, 24 years ago, I've been having conversations about this in the comics. Why can't he just let this clown go? It's weird. It is weird. Batman could literally beat up a random person to death walking the street at night, but he like carry on as soon as Joker walks in the room. I know. He's like serenading him. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I will never understand. I don't understand it. Joker has to molest Bruce for him to kill the Joker for real. No, he probably wouldn't even do it then. Like, they got a bromance going on. Maybe be into it. I don't know. I don't understand. There's in Harlequin, there's a scene, the cartoon, the animated series. There's literally a scene where Joker is trying to catch Batman, but he doesn't really want to kill Batman because they're having too much fun playing with each other. And Batman felt the same way. And I'm like, these people are messed up. I don't get it. Doomsday's Joker Brainiac, but 5 needs to be just be incinerated. Too dangerous. I agree. As long as we don't have that in Supergirl, we should be all right. And this is weakness. Plot-induced stupidity is also Oliver's superpower in the Arrowverse. You're not wrong. There's been so many times that I've literally questioned why I still watch the Arrow. There actually were times when, especially with the new Canary, I'm calling them Team Terrific because that's what I'm gonna call them. When they were basically fighting against Diggle and Oliver and, Felicity, it just didn't make sense why they were arguing, because technically Oliver was getting mad at them for stuff, again, that he'd been doing since season 1. There is a good parody out there. I can't remember the name of the YouTube channel, but they actually have Oliver talking to the team, and like there's like a bomb that the Nazis are putting off, or somebody's putting off, or Russia's putting off, is about to blow up, and they're all talking and everyone's talking about the strategy, and you have Curtis saying, oh yeah, we're gonna take them out, blah blah blah, and Arrow's like, whoa, we don't kill people, and like Curtis is like, what are you talking about? I killed like 3 people yesterday, and Felicity's like, even I've killed a couple of people, and he's like, hold it, I'm the only one that has the fortitude to be able to withstand taking a human life. And then he like walks off, and then Felicity's like, wait for it. Should we go after him? No, come back. It is absolutely effing hilarious. I will try to link this when this posts. I will try to link that video down here, because it basically, that entire video explains how I feel about Arrow. It is the best parody that I have seen about an Arrowverse series to date, outside of my live read for Crisis, which I'm so happy because 2 is almost done now. We finally got all the artwork in. I'm so excited. But yeah, I've always had a problem with that. Always. I think they give Supergirl extra powers and then just threw it away. Like, it would have been cool to see Supergirl be more powerful than Rain, but they threw that concept in the garbage like every other good idea. I agree with that. So, not just Supergirl, Martian Manhunter, they've completely depowered. If you want to talk about character assassination, Martian has probably had the worst treatment in the Arrowverse, because that man, it's like the last episode where I was griping about the fact that the Phantom should have never touched him, because he could have just phased through them all. He could have phased. You can't touch something that's not tangible. So like, he literally could have just been sitting here. I'm just going to carry this device, Alex, over to the portal thing and stick it in, because nobody can touch me because I'm phasing through them. I've never, ever understood why they made his powers so dumbed down in Supergirl, other than the fact that he would outshine Supergirl. That's the only thing I can think of. They also did a parody of the Flash. Oh, I remember that when they were talking about the guy who was recording in the voice booth. Like, I am Barry Allen, the fastest man alive. Can you really say you're the fastest? Because it kind of seems like everybody is kind of faster than you. Like, I love when he's like, "Can you really call them friends?" And it's like, with my with my part-time associates. I actually love that. I'll probably have to find that too and post both of them at the bottom. They did a really good job, but they really summed up the Arrowverse in that parody. And I mean, it's just what it is. The phantoms aren't tangible either. True. So really, all they had to do was just phase through each other, but they could touch though because they would scratch you. So like they wouldn't have been able to touch him, and he could have just floated right up. Like literally, there would never have been a reason for them to even see Martian Manhunter. He just would have been like right there. And Alex never even had to go. Nobody had to go but Martian Manhunter. Like nobody had to go there, like to do anything because he just would have phased through everything. But they don't let him do that. I don't know why they don't let him phase because that is one of his coolest abilities. I don't understand why they don't let him use his full potential, other than the fact that either the CG would cost too much or it would make, Kara be less relevant if Martian was infinitely cooler than her in her own show. Something I can think of. Martian Manhunter's Omnipath in the comics. It's ridiculous how depowered they. I mean, it's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. My favorite speedster was Impulse from Smallville. Yeah, I loved all of the Smallville tie-ins. Like I said, that was the first time we ever saw Legion and Justice Society of America, in live action form, like all these characters together, like in every week, especially I think starting in season 7 on to the finale, which carried on to the IDW comics. But you would have like, we saw Zatanna, we saw, Booster Gold, we had Blue Beetle. I mean, there's so many, of course we had Aquaman. Eventually we saw Mira. I mean, I could literally make a list of all of the characters that we saw, in, freaking live action form that we've never seen. I mean, heck, they even had the Wonder Twins. And we don't get that in the Arrowverse shows. And it's very weird. It's very, very, I don't know why we don't. It's kind of a missed opportunity. Like at this point, having Constantine in the show for this long, why the heck haven't you had a cameo from Zatanna? That makes no sense to me. Why isn't the Justice League more established, given the characters' ages at this point? It doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, whatever. I mean, you saw the denerved Superman. No way could Martian Manhunter be on her level because she has to be the strongest ever. Yeah. I agree with that. Wait, Justice League question. Barry is not fast enough to time travel yet because Clark is still faster at this point in the DCEU if you watch their fight. So how could he do it? Well, okay, so in Crisis, they already established that Arrowverse Barry already has done Flashpoint. And when Ezra Miller's Barry met Grant Gustin's Barry realized that Ezra didn't even have his Flashpoint yet. So they're not on the same level and they're not the same age. Because Barry Allen has already graduated from college and has been working, in the crime as a CSU or was a CSI for like, I guess 5 years, 6 years. Well, he was in a coma for a while too. So maybe I'm going to say 6 or 7 years. This version of Barry Allen in DCEU hadn't even gotten out of, I guess he hasn't gotten out of college or was going into college, but he's a lot younger. Even the Iris West looks younger. They look like teenagers. So they're not the same age and they haven't had the same life experiences yet. Because, I mean, I do remember Barry saying that in Crisis. He's like, oh, you haven't had Flashpoint yet. You don't know about Flashpoint or time travel. And then he says in Crisis, he said, I need to tell Victor about this. So we know that they don't. And I don't even think they developed the treadmill yet in the DCEU. So, yeah, I think it's just going to be, they're moving at different timelines and they're different ages. So somewhere out there's a 95-year-old, Barry Allen. Still trucking along. I bet they'll make it that Dreamer can alter reality with her dreams. Why not? I mean, in one of the X-Men movies, what was it? Days Before Future Past, they had Kitty Pryde able to send someone's consciousness through time and space, which she's never been able to do. So people take liberties. Okay, in the Justice League movie, should be able to buy same account then. I think they should be, but I mean, again, the Barry Allen that we have in DCU hasn't had any. I mean, heck, we haven't even gotten his origin movie. So, I mean, but then you also have to understand that the DCEU and the Arrowverse are both highly problematic right now. They're not connected, and they tried to make it a little connected by having DCU's Flash meet Arrowverse's Flash, but nothing. The shows aren't connected. None of the movies seem to be connected. They're all over the place. So it doesn't shock me that he doesn't know how to do any of this stuff in this DCU yet. I mean, honestly, I don't know. We're getting Flashpoint, so we know he's going to figure something out, but we don't even know if it's going to be the same story as in the comics. It could be something completely different, which is stupid. But again, I mean, we're going to have a very aged up version of Batman. And since if he's playing Batman, it seems like they're going with the Bruce Wayne instead of Thomas Wayne angle in Flashpoint, which never happened in Flashpoint because Bruce Wayne wasn't the older, Batman in Flashpoint. So I don't know. It's just all weird. It's all very weird. Okay. Let me go up here. I think this is where you start. Oh, here we go. And give her the power of Homegirl from the New Mutants. Which one? Dreams, and nightmares. Oh, of Danielle Moonstar. Yeah, she has fear ability. I love her fear ability. People underestimate her. She's a very, very powerful mutant. I don't know why they don't actually use her more. Because having your nightmares come to life, and the way to get into your head, not even in your head, she can get in insects' heads, she can get into animals' heads. She's very that character is creepy. She's literally like Snakebite without needing a drug, without needing to inject anybody in anything. She is literally a very cool character. The only reason I think that she doesn't get a lot of play is because she's Native American. I'm be real with you, because they seem to, back in the day, they did that stuff. So, but yeah, Danielle Moonstar is badass. I love anybody with fear, like any type of fear ability is really cool. I want Moonstar on my team. Yeah, I like her and Rainey and Wolfsbane. Now, they were not together in the comics. I really want them to do that though, because at this point, Rainey has not been doing well on her own. They won't. I don't think in Krakoa they brought her son back either. So why not? It's a new world. Reinvent it. Might as well do whatever. But I'm also hoping we get more Young Avengers, because I'm big West Coast Avengers. I always make fun of it, but I also really love the West Coast Avengers, because to me it was the ultimate LGBT team. Even though Kate thinks she's not queer, she really is. She's so queer for America. It's not even funny. I would love to see them, like them do an animated version of the comics. It would be absolutely hilarious. At least do another comic run of them, because I love that team together. Zack Snyder's Justice League, Barry said he had a rule never to break light speed. That's why he doesn't time travel. I mean, technically, he's not supposed to be doing it all, ever. He does it all the time. Barry Allen just doesn't do what he's supposed to do. I think one time I saw a random old lady with a walker casually walk past Barry Allen while he was running. I want to see that. That's funny. Oh, my God. I'm a big White Vision fan. Yeah, I hope we see more of White Vision. He kind of flew off, so you never know. Damn, I'm 11 from the afterlife. Okay, I'm going to take a few more because we're at the 2-hour mark. And, it's a school night. It's really not a school night for me, but I'm sure it is for some of you. Somebody's going to school or work. Let me see. I'm trying to see if I've actually missed anything, because sometimes I do that. I don't mean to. It just happens. Trying to okay, I think I did that one. I mean, she at the bottom of the totem pole. Caitlin without her meta powers is above her. Oh wait, who is? Oh, we're talking about Iris. I don't know. Iris, I don't have the hate that people have for Iris. I just don't. And I don't hate Caitlin. She just bores me to death. I'm sorry. She's boring to me. There's nothing about Caitlin that really I connect with. So she's like that girl in high school that I just never paid attention to. And probably vice versa. She probably felt the same way about me. So that's kind of how I feel about Caitlin in high school. and in life. She would be the girl that no hate towards her or nothing. She just wouldn't be somebody I hung out with. Caitlin's not the one that I see talking about comics with or talking about like video games or D&D or like, anything like Star Trek, Star Wars, nothing. She's not my flavor of the week, if that makes sense. Iris is cool. Not saying I think that Iris is nerdy. I just think that we would probably kick it a lot more than me and Caitlin would, because Caitlin just she'd bore the hell out of me. I do like Frost on a comedy level, even though that's not the Frost of the comics. But yeah, I like Iris as her own character, just not team leader like Lois in the future earns it after the decimation of like most of the league. Well, my problem with Iris is her actress never got a fair writing team. They wrote her wrong. Even Candace Patton said in multiple interviews she wanted to keep on the reporter track. They started her off, basically going down the road she's supposed to go down, and then they just up and rewrote her whole character and threw her into this. And it wasn't fair to her actress because she was already getting a lot of hate. Let's just be real, for being Black. And then they threw her in the role she was team leader of Star Labs over people's favorites. And, they're like, why wasn't Cisco, or why couldn't Caitlin be it? And blah, 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 blah. And so she got a lot of hate for that. And so her character was basically assassinated by the writing team. And it's messed up. It really is. And now any redemption she's getting, even she's starting her own, online, newspaper, the Citizen, it doesn't matter because all they can see is all the stuff that she did in the past seasons. And so it's really not fair. It's not. It really isn't. Frost is the friend who go rob a bank with. I could see Frost hanging out with Rory. I think their conversations would be awesome if she was on Legends. That would be very funny. I love Killer Frost. Yes, she's funny. I just don't like Caitlin. I think Caitlin is the problem for me. I am not a Caitlin fan at all. I don't mind Frost. She's still not the Killer Frost of the comics, but I don't mind her because she's funny. She's like comedy. She's basically what Caitlin would be like if she had a little bit more personality. I know it sounds bad, but I'm just not a fan of Caitlin. The only time Iris made me mad was when she sided with Nora, becoming friends with Reverse Flash and saying he changed. Yeah, that's also a writing thing. That's why it's hard for me. I don't get mad at the actors, but the characters you can get mad at because it's all depends on who's writing them. It's just like comics. I always use City of Bane as an example. A lot of people hated City of Bane because of how weak they made Batman, and they made him very like he was going on little retreats with Selena. They were paragliding and stuff in the ocean together, holding hands, and like that's not what Bruce does. So talking about his feelings. It just depends on who is writing it. And that is pretty much what I would want to say about Iris. Iris just had a really shitty writing style, treatment on her character. And it's very obvious. They should have never, ever made it so Joe adopted Barry and made them grow up like sister and brother and have Iris use the freaking lines. You're like my brother. You're practically my brother. I mean, she would say it all the time because you knew you were going to hook them up. I mean, they were canon in the comics. You knew this, but you literally set it up so everyone's going to be caught. We're going to start referring to these two people as incestual, even though they're not even biologically related because they were raised as, brother and sister under the same roof. So yeah, it would be, even though technically in the Brady bunch, I'm pretty sure all the Bradys got with each other, but you know what I'm saying. So it's like, it's all about the writing. It sucks. It really sucks. I do like retcon of Catwoman to a meta that I love. I do like that too. I've always thought she'd be a really good meta. So I like that. I'm hoping that's something that they keep across the board, but probably not. Probably not. I love Killer Frost, not Frost or Caitlin. I agree with that. I like Iris having something outside of Team Flash. She should have had something outside of Team Flash from the beginning. She would be very instrumental being a reporter. She could get all the information, all the people that they were trying to do and blah, blah, blah. She would research everything. I mean, that's what Iris did in the comics before she had to go back to the future. But like, again, Iris's story is completely different in the comics. And so, like, first of all, Joe is not her dad in the comics, and she's not even from Barry's timeline. She's got sent to the past by her parents to save her life. So if you really read Iris West's story, it's completely different. It's got nothing to do with the color of her skin. It's just her story is completely different. But at this point, that lady had already won a Pulitzer. So they really did not do a good job writing for Iris. Okay. Not practically. He is her brother, Raphael, legally and family-wise. Okay, so I kind of get what you're saying, except if, let's see, there's a lot of people that I love. I won't lose Lady Shiva. So if Xena, warrior princess, her family died and had to come live in my house, and my dad was like, well, for legal reasons to give benefits, I have to, like, adopt her and stuff. But you're not related. And she was like, hey. And I was like, hey, I'm not going to lie to you. I am not into incest, but we don't have the same mama and we don't have the same daddy. So it's okay, Ray. It's okay. It will be okay. Turn out the lights. I'm just saying. Birds of Prey, Helena Kyle storyline. That's but Ray, let me have my Xena. Let's see. One more question. Did you say it's a Zoom night? Okay, I tried to scroll up. I think I missed one. 1 second. I'm pretty sure I did. There is no Earth in the multiverse where Oliver is more intelligent than Mr. Terrific. There's no, let's be real, there's no Earth in the multiverse or now the multi-phantom zone that Oliver is more intelligent than anybody. So just put it up there. Step sibling, foster family, adopted family, gay family level. I mean, like I said, that's why I have no hate. Now, Barry had a crush on Iris, right? Even in school. So he was always trying to get in that, like the whole time. She was the one friend-zoning him with that whole brother line. Joe is not Barry Allen's daddy. He did not contribute any sperm nor DNA to that conception. He provided a house and provided literally a legal guardianship situation. But they're not related. Their babies are not coming out with 5 fingers on top of their heads or 3 eyeballs on their butt. There's no blood there. Now, I have accidentally read stories where I didn't realize, like, there's a Yuri manga I was reading. I didn't even realize that these girls were biological fraternal effing twins and they were into each other. Now that stuff, nah. Mm-mm. 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 Nope. They literally call themselves father and son from the beginning. That's fine. I mean, let's be clear. There are a lot of people, like, when you get married, and if you have a closer relationship to one of your in-laws than you do to your biological parents, you call them mom and dad. And yes, it's through marriage, but I mean, it's still creepy to hear somebody say it. This is my mom, this is my dad, and this is their son, and this is their daughter, and this is my spouse. A lot of that could be misconstrued depending on if you know the situation or not. But at the end of the day, and I'm going to say it again, there is no biological blood or DNA between these two people. And they're 23andMe. They are not related. They are not. You know, Joe is not Barry's father. So, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. I don't see a problem with it. I think it's weird that they decide to go that route because it starts conversations like this that are just messed up. Because you should never have to have a conversation about Barry Allen and Iris West being related. That should never be a thing, ever. And a lot of people are like sister wife or incest. The definition of incest does not apply because they are not biologically related. I cannot use the term incestual relationship if they have no biology and shared DNA between them. I can't do that. I just can't. I know how the situation looks. I know some cultures are like, okay, we're all one family, blah, blah, blah. That's great. But you are not biologically related to each other. So, and again, Barry Allen never saw Iris West as a sister. He made that clear. He was in love with her since he was 10 years old. So, yep. Let's see. Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver getting it on, and Captain America said nothing. Now, because Scarlet and Quicksilver, Pietro and Wanda are twins. And actually, Wolverine saw them in the window getting it on, and he was grossed out. Like, so, in one universe, Wolverine was their daddy, and that was really messed up. But yeah, I just think it's interesting because, yeah, Wanda and Pietro are literally related. They are twins. And I don't understand the fetish about twins getting it on. That's just really creepy to me. But, you know, somebody had that fetish because they wrote it in a comic. So, but at the end of the day, I can't compare Barry and Iris to Wanda and Pietro because they are not. There's no world where Iris came out of, you know, Barry's mama's vajayjay, and there's no world where Joe contributed the sperme to make Barry. So since they are not blood, and they are not related through blood, not 3 times removed, 5 times removed, 27 from whatever, it doesn't matter. They are not incestual because they are not related. That's just what it is. So yeah, but everybody, you know how I am. You guys can all have your opinions. It's not going to faze me. It's fine. I'm not going to be upset about it. But yeah, I will say the incest part is prevalent in manga and anime, some comics. I've never understood it. I will never understand it. I mean, I love my brother, but I don't love my brother. It's just what it is. Like, never saw my brother as anything but my brother. But if Xena was living in my house, I mean, I'm just saying, nothing you can do about it. Any form of any Wonder Woman lineage, any Themyscira, from Deanna to Nubia could be in this house. I don't care if my dad adopted him 5 times. It's on. I'm like, put it there. But I'm happily married, so don't tell River I said that. Give the Flash Showtime. It will happen. I'm done. That's a whole other conversation. She said sperm. I said sperme. Tenchi Muyo is pretty cool once you get past the royal incest. Yeah, don't get me started on that. Cousins, that's still creepy, and no. All right, the last one, then we got to go. The touch on the Amazons and how they reproduce, and these immortal chicks all dating each other for all lifetime. See, they just do bad things to men. I mean, yeah, the people that are unlucky enough to have their ships come through by Themyscira, they do get molested. That's where Wonder Woman learned that, so she could do that in 1984. And yes, they do make babies, and then they send them either to their deaths or to the all island of men. Actually, I think they just kill the men, and then if the babies come out as boys, then they throw them on the island across from them because they're not allowed to live on Themyscira. That's literally how that goes down. It's creepy. It's messed up. But that's Themyscira for you. But the women are hot. But yeah. All right. We're at 2 hours and 17 minutes. It is time to go to sleep. And it's time for me to get my frozen eye mask because my sinuses are like, can't handle it. All right. So we did our Tuesday. We don't have our Falcon and Winter Soldier. And unfortunately, I don't think we get Loki until, I want to say we don't get it till the beginning of June, but it may be the end of May. But you are going to get more videos this week. So be on the lookout because I've got some already done. Thank gosh. That's what I've been working on, which is why I've been posting as frequently. I'm trying to get a bunch of them together so I can just keep posting and build them up. And then if you approach the Yuri subscribe to, I have 5 videos that are ready to upload. So they should start posting depending on how fast I can upload it, either tomorrow or Thursday. You should have the first one. So Yay, 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 yay. You guys are awesome. I love hanging out with you guys on Tuesdays. You make Tuesdays, because I go back to work on Tuesday morning, so you make my Tuesday nights extremely enjoyable. Even with my sinus crap going on, I've been very appreciative of this. And so we will have, hopefully everything will be back. I think we are getting Supergirl and Black Lightning next week, hopefully. So we'll do our next Tuesday run as well. And then I have another Friday stream coming, which I will let you guys know about. I just have to confirm it with someone first. So we should have another Friday stream coming this Friday, and I will let you know all the details on that in the community tab. So make sure you're checking the community tab, because that's where I put all of the updates, because, you know, it's kind of like Instagram and Facebook at this point. All right. I love you guys. Go to sleep, or if you're just getting up in your time zone, have a good day. If you have to go to work or school, have a good day. And hopefully we'll be able to talk about Charmed again soon when they're coming back, and Batwoman as well. So we will get all of our shows back pretty soon. So be on the lookout. Good night.